Well, guys, AEW Dynasty happened last night, and we had some major surprises at the end of the main event there, and some fun matches throughout. We're going to talk about it and give you guys our review of the show from last night, Sunday, April the 6th, AEW Dynasty in Philadelphia. As always, I'm Mike Cephalota, your host, joined by Mr. Sean O'Neill, and we are going to talk about AEW Dynasty. As always, please like and subscribe and add your comments down below for what you guys thought about the show, how you guys felt about it. Did you like the what happened in the main event? Did you not like what happened in the main event? And yeah, let us know your feelings on that. And actually, you know what? Let's just go right into that main event because that seemed to be the most talked about thing on the show. So, Sean, I'll let you take it away. How did you feel about Moxley retaining and how that whole thing went down?
I hate it. Absolutely hate it. Much like the previous pay-per-view and its nonsensical Christian cashing in at the stupidest point ending. This one is another instance, in my opinion, of AEW treating its fans like they're idiots. Um, the Bucks run away from AEW because they're afraid of the Death Riders and afraid of dealing with the Death Riders, only to make a miraculous reappearance helping the Death Riders. What sense does it make? And the match, I mean, started off relatively slow, but picked up pace throughout. And Swerve looked fantastic. Moxley looked like his usual bum plumber self. But I don't know. I just the ending completely soured the entire thing for me. It just was pointless. It was stupid, and I feel kind of disrespected having watched that whole thing.
Yeah, it was so it was interesting, right? Like I didn't really love the payoff that they had for the Hangman thing, for one thing. Like he came out and it looked like he was going to do a buckshot over the top rope and maybe hit Swerve, maybe hit Moxley. Like we never really got the chance to tell because the Death Riders came out and there was the whole kind of back and forth and then everybody kind of brawled out to the back when Samoa Joe and the others came out and kind of like, fought them all to the back, right? Which looks like it's setting up a new group for the trios titles there. Um, but
It's also setting up, I think, a stadium stampede match
yeah,
potentially.
yeah, I could see that. I could see that too. Um, but yeah, I mean, I love to your point. I love Swerve. I think he's great. That Swerve stomp that he did off the ladder was pretty awesome. I'm surprised he didn't like blow out his knee when he did that.
Yeah, that was a
But
worrying move.
yeah, but that ending, like what are we doing, AEW? Like, are we trying like we said it yesterday when we did our predictions video. Are we like really just trying to turn John Moxley into like Timu Roman Reigns? Like we're just gonna have him win by like all sorts of nonsense, like all of the time. And to your point about the Bucks, like you told a whole story, and I'm sure they'll explain it on TV on Wednesday. At least I hope they will. But it's like I don't understand that. Like that like completely contradicts the story that they were trying to tell. But then again, WWE did a half-assed thing when they turned Jimmy Uso heel against Jey Uso at the SummerSlam when he came and saved Roman Reigns, and he was like, "Oh well, I wanted to prevent you from becoming like a darker version of yourself or something like that." And I'm just thinking like that was stupid and dumb, and I hated it. And if they do something similar to that here, which I mean, Swerve kind of like toes the line. I mean, yes, he is easy a face technically, but yes, but I mean, he's in that gray area for me, with the way he wrestles and the kind of the way he portrays his character. So I don't know, but to your point, I didn't love it. The match was fine. It started off slow, but then it really picked up when they were kind of slamming finishers at each other in the end. Um,
Yeah,
I didn't care for that ending, not one bit.
it makes Moxley look weak too. The fact that the guy can't win a match on his own. I mean, at least the interference during Roman's matches was mainly just a distraction, and then Roman would still end up getting the win. I mean, every one of these matches with Moxley and the interference has been somebody directly hitting or beating down the his number one contender and taking them out for him, basically. And I especially hate this because I think Swerve was the perfect person to take the title off of Moxley, especially if this is leading to Osprey winning the title. I think an Osprey Swerve match is 1,000 times better than an Osprey Moxley match.
So is
I mean,
that
it's
where we're
fantastic. And
is that
it
where
looks
we're
like that's
going?
what we're building. It looks
Yeah.
like it's what we're building to. I mean, I think we're of the consensus that Osprey is going to win the uh the Owen Hart tournament,
Yeah.
and unless Moxley drops it at Double or Nothing, but the rate they're going, I could see them just holding it until that big All In show.
Yeah. I think I agree with you. I mean, I I love Osprey. I mean, I think Osprey's fantastic, but yeah, I mean, Osprey versus Swerve is definitely the better match, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what you're building towards here. Like, is Osprey like is he your guy? You know, is he gonna be your big face of the company, Cody Rhodes type guy that's gonna, defeat, the team who Roman Reigns? So I'm gonna just start to call John Moxley going forward. Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I really I don't know why the hell they did that at all. Like it makes no sense to me. Swerve is awesome and putting the title on him makes so much sense. And people are really they're down on Moxley a lot. And one of the things I was thinking about last night when we were watching this too is like the briefcase gimmick, it's cute. It was cute. Now
It's gotten old.
it's dumb. And I need to see the title. Like I really like the way that AEW World Championship looks. I think it's awesome. I want to have like a replica one behind me, like because I think it's just such a badass looking title. But I'm kind of annoyed, and I'd really like it needs to be featured on television more because it's a spectacle, right? Like people like title matches. It's a big deal, and like the way that this is being portrayed, it kind of makes your title look like it's a piece of trash, a
It
little bit.
it it reminds me of the old WCW big title.
Mhm.
And if you recall, I mean, the NWO sort of did something similar where they took the title and basically made it their own. But what they did that was awesome was they spray painted the title. So you still saw that title. They made it their own. In
Yeah.
this case, like you said, we're not even seeing that title, and it takes away from the impressiveness of it. Um, and one other thing I wanted to add too is we watched this event with two pretty hardcore AEW fans, and the fact that both of them were left kind of dumbstruck at the end of this match is pretty telling too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, both of those guys, yeah, they're pretty hardcore AEW fans. And it's not that they couldn't defend it, but they were just kind of like, what? Like
Exactly.
like what happened in, we won't mention these guys by name, but they definitely over the years that AEW has been around, they've really found a way to kind of, really um, find the positive in almost everything that AEW does, and we don't always agree on that, which is fine. Like it's the purpose of having banter for, the wrestling community. Um, but yeah, I was just kind of surprised. Like this just sort of seems like a universally dumb thing that they did to kind of close out this show. So I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens on Dynamite this Wednesday to see how they kind of want to explain this one away.
My problem is how do you even explain it away? Like what kind of answer can the Bucks give that just doesn't sound stupid? Like these guys are the executives of this company, and you're going to come out and you're going to defend the guys who are trashing your company. Like at least when it was the Bucks doing everything they were doing, it was because hey, we're the guys in charge and we can do whatever the hell we want. Like they had reasoning behind that. This just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Anyway, the main card opened up with the first Owen Cup match of the night when Will Ospreay took on AEW's newest signing, Kevin Knight. This match was awesome. I mean, Osprey, as we've said numerous times, is amazing, and I loved everything about this match. I know that initially Knight was replacing the injured Jay White, which may have been a better match, but everything about this match was outstanding. The in-ring work that Osprey does just continues to be excellent, and I love that hidden blade that he did at the end to put him down for the 3 count. I thought that was fantastic. Just an excellent, excellent match. Great way to start off the show and get the crowd hot.
So part of me is glad that it wasn't Jay White because then he didn't have to take the loss here. Um, I mean, yes, you're still losing to an Osprey, but White really hasn't had any signature wins lately with his assistance of Copeland.
Mhm.
I think that this Kevin Knight kid, oh my God, I had never seen him before. According to what I was told, he's out of Japan, and the near falls, the storytelling in this match for Osprey versus somebody who was basically a no-name person to me was absolutely incredible. There were several points where it looked like Osprey might actually lose,
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree.
and I know we both correctly predicted this one, so we're one for one on that match.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, we really, I really was thinking about that while we were watching the show, and I was like, these seemed so easy, like initially, and I got so many of them wrong. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I agree though. Excellent match, and yeah, Will Ospreay is just a rock star. The next match was the Hurt Syndicate versus the Learning Tree of Big Bill and Brian Keith. What did you think about this match?
So finding out that this was another one where this wasn't what was the original plan for this was interesting. Apparently, it was supposed to be the Hurt Syndicate versus the Murder Machines of Brian Cage and Lance Archer, but Brian Cage hurt himself. I'm not 100% sure how. So that unfortunately took that away. I mean, this was a relatively predictable one with how high they're pushing the Hurt Syndicate. And I mean, I called it. I said MJF was going to get involved somehow just to continue the storyline. And seeing him pop out of that crowd and do his signature, "Oh, it wasn't me," look was was pretty funny. And then of course the Hurt Syndicate ended up dominating from there. I mean, this is all building towards them being incredibly strong and the learning tree eventually working its way towards that breakup.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I know I mentioned during our predictions video, I mean, Bobby Lashley is just one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Like I love Bobby Lashley. He looks like a killer. And he's so good in the ring. Like he's so strong and he's just such a beast. And Shelton Benjamin too, like I know the dude's in the twilight of his career and they did nothing with him in like the last 5 years he was with a WWE, but he's really, he's hit like his second renaissance here in AEW, and I think he looked great. And while I'm not that big of a fan of MVP, I think that they need him. Having him as their mouthpiece is good. And I'm really curious to see where this story goes with MJF. So, all around, top marks for this one. Great match, and was very, very pleased with it.
On the MVP note, I think that they need to never let him go in the ring. I feel like at this point that's his weakness.
Yeah.
Let him just stay their manager. And that way they always have that mouthpiece and we don't run the risk of him making them look bad. And then as far as Shelton Benjamin goes, my God, for being in the quote twilight of his career, the dude is in impressive physical shape. He looks almost as big as Lashley.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, he really does. He looks great. Our next match was the Owen Hart Women's Tournament quarterfinal with Mercedes Moné versus Julia Hart. Mercedes Moné did pick up the win, but the crowd for this one was very, very clearly behind Julia Hart. And I don't know what it is with Mercedes. I never really liked her when she was Sasha Banks in WWE. I don't like the CEO gimmick. The crowd just didn't really seem to give a crap about her at all. I mean, I don't want to I know that the commentary team, this is the one thing that stuck out with this match to me is when she had that botch early when she was going
Yep.
for that like or that suplex, or no, it wasn't a suplex. What the hell was she doing? The drop kick thing that she tried to do where she had the botch, and like the commentary team went above and beyond to like try and defend that botch, even to the point where they were like making fun of fans and stuff like that, where they're like, "Oh, we'd love to see any of you guys try that. This kind of stuff happens." And it was like, "Shut up, Taz. Like, just shut up." Like you can call it out and say, "Oh, well, things happen in real wrestling," but then to like mock your fans like that, I didn't like that. And I feel like she's got what, four belts now. She's way too protected, and
Yep.
I don't care for it at all. She seems very much like AEW's Charlotte Flair, and I don't like it. I didn't like it at all. I mean, I knew Julia Hart wasn't going to win, and I think my only solace in this whole thing is that Athena probably will beat Mercedes in the semis because of the way they showed the bracket. It looked like Athena's going to get the match with her on that side. So,
No, it's the only final.
oh, okay. So then, yeah, so if that's the case, then I think Athena's going to take the whole thing. But yeah, I don't care for Mercedes. And Julia Hart looked great though. I mean, I know she's young, and when she first started in AEW, she didn't really, she didn't really look that great, but she's really coming to her own, and she really looks like she's got a bright future ahead of her, especially for how young she is.
So yeah, Julia Hart, for like you said, being as young as she is and as talented as she um, is going to be an incredible star in that women's division over there. I think they should lean a little more on their stars like her than they do some of their other stars. And as far as the Taz and the insulting the audience goes, I feel like you're right. It's one thing to call out the botch because they happen. They happen to the best people. I mean, hell, look at WWE where they've incorporated it into the storyline for Jay. Um, However, when the fans react and the fans boo, it's going to happen. And it's going to happen because, like you said, Mercedes is so protected by them. Like, you can't even insult her. You can't even criticize her without there being some sort of pushback. And she's not that great of a wrestler. She's never been that great of a wrestler. And her promos, the woman can't deliver a promo for the life of her. I don't understand, other than it being the next big shiny thing for them to have gotten. I don't really get the obsession with putting everything on her.
Yeah, I agree. And one of the guys we were watching the show with last night, he made a comment that kind of stuck with me throughout the show, and he had made mention about how he's kind of happy now that AEW isn't signing like every single ex WWE person. And it kind of
Yes.
makes me wonder, like, because he made mention of it like specifically during this match. And I know we were kind of talking about like Baron Corbin as well, going to another promotion, but like he had also made mention of it, kind of referring to Mercedes as well, because he's not a big fan of her either. And it just made me think, like, I wonder if they like kind of regret bringing her on board because it just I don't know, like you're like having to overprotect somebody like that because the crowd is so just against them, you know. I don't know. I mean, she's got her fans, especially like her fans on the internet who thinks that she can do no wrong, but the live audiences just don't seem to care.
AEW has more than enough young indie grown talent that they've brought in that they can call their own, that they don't need to be signing everything out of WWE. It's like you hear talk about, oh, well, this person was just released by WWE. They were seen backstage at AEW. Like, so what? I mean, I know last week, I think it was Von Wagner from NXT was seen as part of the group of security guards during the pull apart swerve page brawl. Like, I don't like the sign of that. Like, you don't need all of that. Build your own people. Yeah, I know your people like Darby Allin are trying to kill themselves on Mount Everest, but there's other people besides him that are your young pillars.
Yeah. And, we'll get into the women's title match in a little bit. But I completely agree with your point. I think Megan Bayne is one of those people, right? Like I think she's awesome and she looked like a rock star, during that match she had with Tony Storm. But
Yeah.
we'll get to that one in a second. Um, the next match was the Death Riders, Wheeler Yuta, Pac, and Claudio Castagnoli versus Dax Harwood, Cash Wheeler, and Edge, Cope Edge. And this match was fine, I guess. Like, it was kind of, and obviously when we did our predictions yesterday, I got this one completely wrong because I was just thinking to myself, there's no way they're going to let Edge lose two pay-per-views in a row. But apparently that was not the case, as the Death Riders did pick up the win after kind of like a botch, not exactly a botch at the end, but like a miscommunication that was obviously storyline driven to have, Edge and I believe it was Dax kind of
Yeah, it was that.
quasi run into each other, but they didn't actually do it. And then I believe Yuta pushed Edge into Dax and then kind of like, hit him with the finisher for the pin there to sort of win the match there at the end. But obviously, the post match angle, which I'll pass over to you, was kind of really where the story was with this whole thing.
So yeah, the post match attack of FTR on Edge, because I refuse to call him Cope, was definitely where the story here was. And part of me is wondering if we should have taken the Death Riders retaining as a sign of things to come. But I do like the way they played it, where Cash Wheeler was a little bit like hesitant at first and questioning everything Dax was doing, only to then turn it into that absolutely incredible looking shatter machine on Edge.
Sweet.
Um, and then the pile driver on the chair, the concerto from Cash Wheeler. I mean, the crowd absolutely blew up with the hatred for them. And I have no doubt we were talking about it yesterday, that this is going to lead to Edge being off TV for a little while, only to come back with a potential returning tag team of some sort, maybe with Christian, since it looks like they're trying to break up the patriarchy a little bit,
Yeah.
and have them come back and feud with FTR.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense, right? Like Edge is definitely towards the end of his run here in AEW, and I don't think he has too many matches left, but they have yet to pay off him and Christian getting together and being a tag team and running with those tag titles for at least a little while. And you
Yep.
gotta think that like while you have them both there, you do that, right? Like you maybe have Edge for another year or two, like tops, before he's what, 52, 53, and like done.
Something like that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like dude can't keep going forever. If he, when he jumped off that cage match that he had last year or whatever, and he was out for like 9 months when he blew up his leg after jumping off the cage there, like he takes one or two more things like that. And I know it was an accident, but like he takes one or two more things like that and he's done. Like he's done. At that age, it's too hard to come back from things like
Yeah.
that. And yeah, but
He's
yeah,
too old to be doing that.
I agree. But I mean, the match was fine. Edge is great. Like his storytelling in the ring is fantastic. Like he's still, he still proved that like he's just one of the best when it comes to that. He can't obviously go like he used to. He delivers a great spear and everything. But his in-ring storytelling is what to me will always like make him one of the best of all time to ever do it.
Edge is has always been one of my top favorite stars. I still remember the day that he came out on Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania and had to retire. So getting the opportunity to see him work his craft again, even if it's not to the full capacity that he used to, is still a joy to me.
Yeah, completely agree. Next, we had the women's AEW World Championship match of Timeless Tony Storm versus Megan Bayne. And I know we briefly touched on this one, but Tony Storm came out in the Rocky gear with the little promo video she put together before that, which was all kind of a tribute to those fans in Philly and the Rocky movies, which was kind of cool. But yeah, Megan Bayne looked awesome. I didn't love the way that they ended this one with the kind of the world's most surprising roll up thing there at the end, the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. But I mean, Megan Bayne looked like a killer throughout the match. She got the majority of the offense in for the match, and I think she looks great. She looks like the future of that company, and I have no doubt that they will put the title on her sooner rather than later.
So I don't know that they could have ended it really any other way with the size and strength difference between Tony and Megan. Um, I love that Penelope Ford, because I absolutely love Penelope Ford, was running around the outside being obnoxious the entire time until Luther kidnapped her. Um,
That was weird.
what, Luther kidnapping her? Yeah.
Like the way that they
Um,
kept like going in on the camera and like he was like sticking his tongue out and stuff like that. I was like, what the hell? This is
it was a
awkward.
little bit of a reversion to his old Dr. Luther character, it seemed like,
Hmm.
before they repackaged him as Tony's valet.
Hmm.
But no, for the size difference between these two and like the two different types of wrestler they put on a real good match. And I wasn't really big on Megan Bayne going into this. I felt like they were pushing her too hard and too fast. But I think that she definitely won me over a bit in this match.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, solid match though. The next match was Kyle Fletcher versus Mark Briscoe, and I've never really been a big fan of the Briscoes, and it's just it's a tragedy, obviously, what happened to his brother. Um, But Mark Briscoe, man, dude can go. Like that
Oh
was
yeah.
an outstanding match. Like some of the dives he did off of the top rope, and I mean Fletcher looks great too. Obviously, Fletcher's match at the Revolution with Osprey was the best match on the card, and I mean Fletcher looked fantastic as well. Fletcher obviously picking up the win over Briscoe with sort of that crazy turnbuckle brainbuster thing he did off the top rope. So I think
Oh yeah.
they're I think they're like 2-2 in their feud now. But he obviously advances in the Owen Hart Cup there as well. But this match was kind of my surprise best match of the night. I think like this match was awesome, like absolutely awesome. These guys like they left everything on the table and it looked great. Really great way to just build up Fletcher and just for Briscoe to show how fantastic he is and how much he can still go.
So Fletcher winning sets him up to face whoever wins the Hangman Page wild card match. I have a feeling it's going to be Page. Um, so I think that Fletcher doesn't advance past the next round, but giving him this signature strong win here in this round is real good for him. That top rope corner brainbuster is just a disgusting looking move. Like it looks like he's trying to kill someone when he does that.
Oh yeah.
Um, and then as far as Briscoe goes, yeah, definite tragedy what happened to Jay. I'm glad that Mark has been able to continue on. And incorporate. I love that he incorporates the Jay Driller and some of Jay's moves as part of his move set. It just sucks that for as good as he is, even though he looks like a homeless guy, he is always that guy that they use to look good but still take the pin.
Yeah.
Um, like that cutthroat. What was it? Where did I write it down? The cutthroat driller that he did to Fletcher when he got him up on his shoulders.
That's
I'd never
cool.
seen that move before. That was a sick, nasty looking move. Um, and I mean, he hit three froggy bows. He just couldn't put Fletcher down. And you could tell they're real high on Fletcher. Kind of reminds me of when Cena was in the prototype phase early in his career,
Mhm.
with Fletcher being the proto star.
Yeah.
I just, that's what it definitely reminds me of. And I think he has a real bright future there.
Yeah. I agree. Which took us to probably the worst match on the card, in my opinion, between Chris Jericho and Bandito for the Ring of Honor title versus Bandito's mask.
Yeah.
I mean, this match just wasn't great. Jericho hit that code breaker kind of like right out of the gate, and then the match, went through and Jericho kind of cheated with the bat at the end and, got the win, but then, Bandito's family was there and they told Aubrey Edwards that like, oh, look at he was cheating, blah 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 blah. I think it was his sister and his mom that were in
Yeah.
the front row there. And then they ended up restarting the match and then he kind of quickly, he just quickly hit Jericho with a boot to the face to just kind of hit him with the finisher and then just pin him to win like real quick there after they restarted it. Like it went for a minute after they restarted it and he just won like right away. But I don't know. I'm I think Jericho needs to retire. I
I agree completely.
Yeah, I don't need to see many more matches out of Chris Jericho. I don't think. I mean I hats off to the guy. He's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best wrestlers to ever do it. But I don't need to see him wrestling anymore, I think in 2025.
So Jericho is at 54 years old. It was the right decision when AEW started to put the belt on him.
Hmm.
You put it on an established guy and you go from there. He's moved into all these other factions throughout his career there, some working better than others.
Yeah,
The Jericho Appreciation Society
love that
was
one.
probably the best one that he was in.
Yep.
But the one thing I'll say is it seems like he just never goes away. And instead of giving him another gimmick, just take him off TV for a little while if you want to bring him back. You know what I mean?
Completely.
Repackage him that way. Don't just fluctuate him immediately into another type of character. And I mean, I know this is all working, like I said earlier, towards building towards breaking up the learning tree, but a little worried where they're going to go after that.
I mean,
And
he'll go on to his next gimmick, I'm sure, but I don't think we need that like right
we
now. I
don't.
think to
And
your
that's my
point,
point.
yeah, to your point, take a break for a little while. Like go off of TV, record with your band or write your comic books
Go
or whatever.
tour.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Um, and then as far as Bandito goes, I like Bandito. I believe he was the last Ring of Honor champion before they went out of business temporarily before Khan bought them again.
Mhm.
The guy is probably one of the better luchadors that's currently going. His moveset looks good. He's quick. He has decent size too. And I think he is deserving to hold that Ring of Honor title again.
Yeah, I completely agree. Our next match was Buffalo-born Daniel Garcia with the as the TNT champion against Adam Cole. Adam Cole, Adam Cole did win the match at the end there with that. Just I love that Panama Sunrise. I just think it's like the coolest name for a wrestling move in like all of wrestling. I think it's just fantastic. And they shook hands after the fact, because they're both kind of like tweener baby faces, right? And match was fine. I mean, they kind of played most of the match with Cole kind of selling an ankle injury that he had going on there for most of the match. A lot of big moves. I think that the video package that they did before this match was the best one of the evening. I really liked that, I really liked how they built this one up because this feud, I think you made mention of it last night that this feud had like really been going on for a while, like 3 or 4 months that this feud has been going on. And I mean, I guess it's time for Cole to finally get his first title in AEW. But yeah, I don't know. What did you think?
So I know I picked Cole to win, but it doesn't change the fact that I'm disappointed that Garcia dropped the belt. Um, the two of them are fantastic technical wrestlers, and anytime that Cole hits that Panama Sunrise right into lowering the boom with that knee to the head is always a pleasure to watch. The thing that impresses me the most, though, especially yesterday, was Cole finally looked like he was back in great shape. For a while now, Cole kind of looked like coming off his injury. He didn't really look like he had very much muscle structure to him, and he had like the body of a 12-year-old boy. So it was nice to see him come out and actually look like a superstar again.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Then the last match we had before the main event was perhaps the most anticipated match of the evening between Kenny Omega, Ricochet, and Speedball Mike Bailey. This match was awesome. This match went on for like 35 minutes, and all three of these guys really got a chance to shine. Mike Bailey really, in the beginning of the match, got the good chunk of the offense, and he had a really funny thing where Ricochet had picked up the commentary team and was kind of talking some shit, and he hit him with an incredible kick to the face that made Twitter and kind of like got it like right before the thing hit his face, and
Yep.
that was pretty cool to see. But yeah, this match was just, aces all the way around. Omega obviously getting the win, which made sense, right? And then I'll let you talk about the match and then obviously the post-match thing here as well that happened.
So we already talked about how I really like this Andrew Tate version of Ricochet. The ego and everything is fantastic, especially with him having the move set behind it. Um, that part where he was talking on the headset and the picture that's out there now of just the foot coming in to kick him in the head is absolutely fantastic. Um, but Speedball Mike Bailey coming into this match, I was not very high on him, having watched him in TNA and all that. Um, he won me over, I think, in this match. He looked fantastic. He sold moves like nobody else. That sequence where they kept all hitting each other with like one would hit a move, then the next would hit the exact same move, and they all like did it in a row was pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
Um, and I don't think you can get a bad match out of Kenny Omega unless he's with John Moxley. Um, in an exploding ring of death match style match, but his that finisher he did, that one winged angel, the avalanche one onto the like from under Mike Bailey
That was
to
pretty cool.
Ricochet was an incredible visual. And the guy is so inventive in the ring that it's like I said, it's impossible to get a bad event out of him. And I really love this match. This was probably my top match of the event. And I think that it's too bad it wasn't in the Tokyo Dome because I would have given it 10 stars.
No comment.
Otherwise, I give it 5 out of 5.
Yeah, absolutely. This match was aces all around. I think they did a great job. Kenny Omega's awesome, and I think that this was, this was one of the best matches on the card. And then obviously
Oh
the
yeah, of course.
the post-match angle with Okada coming out, to kind of get in Kenny's face for a second there. A little disappointed that they didn't point at the All In sign for the Texas show. But very clearly seems like they're going to do a kind of a title unification match at that All In show, and that should be a good one. I mean, Okada's excellent, Omega's excellent. I kind of want Okada to win, like just immediate reaction to that. I love Okada. I think he's excellent, but we'll have to kind of wait and see where that goes. But yeah, that was it. Obviously, and the main event was after that. So overall, what did you think of the show?
I enjoyed it for almost the entire show. The ending soured it a bit for me. But as far as the show itself goes, probably 3.5 out of 5 stars. Pushing towards 4. Uh, but if it doesn't end the way it does, it's definitely 4 out of 5 for me. I just, you had great wrestling, you had great storytelling throughout, but then to just end in such a nonsensical manner completely, like threw the entire thing off for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think I agree with you. I didn't care for the ending either. I think the show opened fantastic with the Osprey match, and then immediately going into the Bobby Lashley Hurt Syndicate match was fantastic. Don't really care for Mercedes. I kind of made mention of that. But
Yeah.
Daniel Garcia looked great. Megan Bayne looked great. Obviously the Kenny Omega Ricochet Mike Bailey match was fantastic. Overall that this was a solid show. I would agree with you. I think 3 out of 5, and I'll be very curious to see where they go with this on Dynamite. So more to
But
come
I
with
will
that.
say that this is actually, it gives me a reason to actually watch Dynamite live this week. Normally, I just watched it afterwards, and because I record it, but it gives me a reason to actually watch because I'm curious to see how they try to explain away this BS.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's our episode. That's our review of AEW Dynasty. Let us know what you guys thought about the episode or the about the pay-per-view last night. Put your comments down below and interact with us. And as always, please like and subscribe to our channel. We're going to continue to put a ton of content out as we get closer to WrestleMania here. Look for our predictions for that, coming up a couple days before the show. And join us for our live watch along that we're going to do. It's going to be the whole gang. We'll probably have a few others as well available that you guys haven't seen yet. To enjoy those 2 nights of WrestleMania as well as NXT Stand and Deliver. So thanks a lot, guys, and enjoy wrestling because it's getting awesome.